Are you eating eggs with certain foods that could be silently destroying your muscle strength, leaving you weaker and more tired every day? I'm Dr. Harold, a 68-year-old physician who's spent 40 years helping seniors like you stay strong and independent. And today, I'm sharing 5 foods you should never mix with eggs. They can turn this healthy protein into a muscle-damaging poison after 60. Picture Margaret, 72, kneeling in her garden one morning, her hands trembling as she tried to pull a weed, her arms too weak to grip, her heart sinking as she realized she couldn't tend to her roses anymore, the one thing that brought her joy since her husband passed. At 72, Margaret had always been active. Her garden was her sanctuary, a place where she'd plant tulips with her grandkids, their giggles filling the air as they dug in the dirt together, the smell of fresh earth grounding her. But lately, her muscle strength had been fading. She'd feel exhausted after just 10 minutes of gardening, her legs wobbly, her arms heavy, her fear growing as she thought, what if I can't do this anymore? What if I lose my independence? I've seen this struggle in so many of my patients. After 60, your muscle mass naturally declines, a condition called sarcopenia, and poor food choices can make it worse, speeding up muscle loss, increasing your risk of falls, and stealing your ability to do the things you love, like gardening with your grandkids. Eggs are a fantastic source of protein for seniors, helping to maintain muscle, but when you mix them with the wrong foods, they can cause inflammation, block nutrient absorption, or spike your blood sugar, all of which destroy your muscle over time. When Margaret came to my clinic, her voice shaky as she said, "Dr. Harold, I can't garden anymore. My muscles are so weak and I don't know why." I knew I had to help. I'm sharing 5 foods you should never eat with eggs if you want to protect your muscle strength, starting with the first one right now. And trust me, when we get to number 4, you'll be shocked. It's a food you'd never expect, so make sure you stay until the end of this video to find out what it is. If you're ready to stay strong after 60, give this video a like. I'd love to know you're with me on this journey. The first food to avoid with eggs is raw avocado. Yes, that creamy fruit you might be adding to your morning omelet could be working against your muscles. I explained to Margaret that while avocados are healthy, their high-fat content can slow down the digestion of egg protein, which your muscles need quickly after 60 to repair and grow. Plus, raw avocado can be hard on senior stomachs, causing bloating that makes you feel sluggish, not strong. Studies show that high-fat meals can reduce protein absorption by up to 20%, meaning your muscles aren't getting the fuel they need, leaving you weaker over time. Margaret thought of her friend Susan, 70, from her knitting group in Texas, who'd shared a story over tea. Susan had stopped eating avocado with her eggs after noticing bloating and weakness, switching to a lighter side like steamed spinach. And within a week, she felt stronger, her voice bright as she said, "I can knit for hours now without my arms giving out." Margaret felt a spark of hope. She loved her avocado toast with eggs, but she was ready to make a change. The next morning, she swapped the avocado for a handful of steamed spinach with her scrambled eggs, the greens light on her stomach, her body feeling energized as she headed to her garden, her hands steadier as she pulled a weed, a small victory that made her smile. Avoid raw avocado with your eggs. Try lighter sides like spinach or tomatoes instead, and let your muscles get the protein they need. For Margaret, it was a small change that made a big difference, her strength starting to return, her garden calling her back. Margaret felt a glimmer of hope after swapping out avocado for spinach with her eggs. She was feeling less bloated, her energy up, and she managed to garden for 15 minutes without her arms giving out. A small win that brought a smile to her face as she watered her tulips. But some days, she'd still feel weak after breakfast, her muscles aching, her legs heavy, making her worry she'd never get her strength back. I told her, "Margaret, you can't keep eating eggs with foods that spike your blood sugar. It's breaking down your muscles faster, and you deserve to feel strong." That's when I shared the second food to avoid with eggs, sugary cereals, which can turn your healthy egg breakfast into a muscle-damaging disaster. After 60, your metabolism slows, and high-sugar foods like sugary cereals cause a rapid spike in insulin, which over time can lead to insulin resistance, a condition that breaks down muscle tissue faster, especially in seniors. Research shows that high insulin levels can increase muscle loss by 15% in older adults, making it harder to stay strong for gardening or even walking. I explained to Margaret, "If you're eating eggs with a bowl of sugary cereal, that sugar rush is undoing the protein benefits of your eggs, leaving your muscles starved." Margaret thought of her neighbor, George, 69, from her walking group in California, who'd shared a story over coffee. George had stopped pairing his eggs with sugary cereal after noticing his legs felt weaker, switching to a low-sugar oatmeal instead, and within 2 weeks, he was walking longer distances, his voice cheerful as he said, "I feel stronger than I have in years." Margaret felt determined. She'd been eating a small bowl of sugary cereal with her eggs, thinking it was a quick breakfast, but she was ready to change. The next morning, she made her scrambled eggs with a side of plain oatmeal, adding a few berries for sweetness. The meal light but filling, her body feeling steady as she headed to her garden, her legs stronger as she knelt to plant a new tulip bulb, her heart lifting with every dig. Avoid sugary cereals with your eggs. Opt for low-sugar options like oatmeal or whole-grain toast instead, and protect your muscle strength. For Margaret, it was another step forward, her gardening time stretching to 20 minutes, her roses blooming brighter as her strength grew. Now, let's talk about the third food to avoid with eggs. Fried bacon, a classic breakfast combo that could be inflaming your body and weakening your muscles. I explained to Margaret that fried bacon is high in saturated fat and sodium, which can cause inflammation in seniors, straining your digestion and slowing muscle recovery. Studies show that high inflammation levels can reduce muscle protein synthesis by 25%, making it harder to maintain strength after 60. Margaret thought of her friend Linda, 71, from her book club in Florida, who'd shared a story over tea. Linda had stopped eating fried bacon with her eggs after feeling achy and weak, switching to lean turkey slices, and within days she felt less stiff. Her voice soft as she said, "I can move without pain now." Margaret nodded. She loved her bacon and eggs, but she didn't want to hurt her body. The next day, she swapped the bacon for a few slices of lean turkey with her eggs, the meal lighter on her stomach, her body feeling less inflamed as she walked to her garden, her arms steady as she pruned her roses, a sense of strength returning. Avoid fried bacon with your eggs. Try leaner proteins like turkey or a handful of nuts instead, and keep inflammation down to protect your muscles. For Margaret, it was another win, her gardening sessions growing longer, her hope building as she thought about the shocking number 4 food I'd promised to reveal. Just 2 more to go. If you're finding this helpful and want to keep your muscles strong, subscribe to join us on this journey. I'd love to have you with us as we uncover the rest. Margaret's journey had transformed her. She was gardening for an hour without exhaustion, her arms strong, her legs steady, her roses blooming brighter than ever, the joy of digging in the dirt with her grandkids filling her heart, her independence reclaimed. She could plant tulips with her little ones again, their giggles echoing as they helped her water the flowers. The smell of fresh earth a reminder of the strength she'd regained, her life feeling full once more. One evening, as the sun set, Margaret sat on her porch, a cup of tea in her hands, her garden glowing in the golden light, a notebook in her lap, the same one she'd used to plan her planting. She began to write a letter to her grandkids, her heart full, a tear rolling down her cheek as she poured out her gratitude. "My dear little ones," she wrote, "I was so weak, my arms too tired to garden, my heart breaking as I watched you play in the dirt without me. I didn't know that the eggs I loved were hurting me when I ate them with avocado, sugary cereals, bacon, white bread, and alcohol. But I found a way. I listened to Der Harold, stopped eating those foods with my eggs, and started choosing spinach, oatmeal, turkey, whole grain bread, and water instead. Now, I'm strong again, planting flowers with you, my love for you growing like my roses. I want you to know you can always find a way, just like Grandma did." She smiled, looking at her garden, her eyes bright with tears of joy. The sunset casting a warm glow over her flowers, her life feeling whole again. You can do this too. Avoid these 5 foods with your eggs: raw avocado, sugary cereals, fried bacon, white bread, and alcohol. Choose muscle-friendly sides like spinach, oatmeal, turkey, whole grain bread, or water instead. And keep your strength to live the life you love, whether that's gardening, playing with your grandkids, or simply walking without fear of falling. If Margaret's story inspired you, share this video with someone who needs to protect their muscles. It could change their life. And subscribe for more senior health tips. I'm Dr. Harold, and I'll be here to help you every step of the way so you can stay strong and independent after 60.